Hello everybody and welcome to today's video, which is a critical hit review. That's right, we're going to start doing reviews on this channel so we can open stuff in a way that I'd like to see it opened if I was watching the video, so then you can all watch it and we can see what's in there. Today we're going to start with the Middle-earth strategy battle game Battle in Balin's Tomb. So let's get started. And here it is, the box itself that I've been waiting for ages, because although it came out a couple of weeks ago, thanks to the post, mine's been taking ages to arrive. But I've got it now here in front of me, so let's take a look. It's the 20th anniversary edition of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and Games Workshop decided to grace us, or Forge World should I say, have decided to grace us with this box that supposedly is for ages of 12 up. It takes 30 to 45 minutes to play and for 2 players. Comes with a load of stuff in the back and a little spiel here in their quest to destroy the One Ring. The Fellowship have journeyed into the depths of Moria, yet blah blah blah. We all know it, we've seen the film. You get a decent amount of stuff by the looks of it. You get the Fellowship, you get some goblins, you get a cave troll, the rules manual, you get some tokens, basically everything you need to play, which looks pretty decent. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a real sucker for boxes like this. Any game that comes with 2 forces where I can play both armies and have a little game against each other, I love. I love the ones for Age of Sigmar, the ones for 40k. I don't buy them all, but ones that I think, oh, I like the models on both sides, I end up getting them, and this is one of them. So I'm going to get that cellophane off, which is always how you know something's brand new. That's like the best stage in it, when you slide that open and just rip it off. So inside, you get the 3 sprues. These are definitely the old sprues. There's nothing new in here. Look at those. Those goblin sprues are from like, what, 2002, 2003. They're ancient. You only get the 12. I know that in the last box set, you used to get 24, like back in the day. So, bit of a downgrade to 12, but there we go. And there's the Fellowship sprue. Loads of people hate this. I think this is a 2005, 2006 sprue. Those people hate it, but I quite like it. I like the models you get on here. You get the full Fellowship. They're in some pretty dynamic poses. Aragorn, Boromir, Legolas, Merry, Pippin. Oh wait, no, Frodo, Sam, Merry and Pippin, and then Gimli and Gandalf. Now, fairly certain that these are actually push fit, because there's not many components at all. You get a little ring there as well, which doesn't fit on anyone's finger if you're an adult. But there we go. You also get the cave troll. Now, this is a pretty aged sprue. This one's definitely from 2005 odd, but it looks kind of decent when it's built, but you can really tell its age once you've got it together. You get a little assembly guide that tells you how to put everything together, although it's kind of self-explanatory by just looking at the sprue, to be honest. There's not that many components. If you are constructionally challenged, however, there is the guide on how to do it. What else we got on here? We've got some dice, which is always useful for playing a game. Doesn't look like you need that many for this game, which is good, because it means the game's probably going to be relatively simple. Or it could be that it's a complicated game and you don't get anywhere near enough dice to play it, which is also common. You get your deck of cards here, which looks like they're kind of crucial to play the game. And then you get all the bases for all of the models that we've just looked at. A nice little packet here that looks like it contains the board and the rule book and the wound tokens. I'm guessing they're wound tokens. They look like wound tokens, so that's what we're going to say they are. So we'll get this open and have a little look. Here is the board. And what a nice board it is. You've got all the turn counters down there, 1 through 12. And then a load of squares. So it looks like this is a square-based game. You just move your models around within those. It gives you starting positions for everybody. Boromir, Legolas and Aragorn at the front, and then Gandalf and all the hobbits behind, with Gimli stood on Balin's tomb, just as he is in the film. It's actually good print quality. It's all the normal stuff you expect. Rulebook itself. Let's have a look. All the standard stuff you'd expect to see in the first few pages of a book, just welcoming you to the game. In fact, it actually starts with that. Welcome, hobbits, to the Battle in Balin's Tomb. This fast-paced and exciting box game allows you to recreate the iconic scene from The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, blah, blah, blah. Winning the game. The Fellowship player wins if at the end of the 12th turn there are 3 or more members of the Fellowship left that have not been defeated, including Frodo Baggins. If at the end of the 12th turn there are 3 or more members of the Fellowship remaining, but Frodo has been defeated, the game is a draw. The Goblin player wins if at the end of the 12th turn there are less than 3 members of the Fellowship remaining. So pretty easy objectives. It comes with all the contents there that we've just gone and had a look through, and then tells us how to set up the board. To begin the game, place the members of the Fellowship on their starting squares as shown in the game board. So we're pretty much right there, weren't we? The Goblin player then places 9 Moria goblins of their choice into the red shaded squares that represent the entrance to Balin's tomb, and it shows us how to lay out all the cards and stuff. Nice, clear, simple. Games Workshop are pretty good at this sort of stuff now, showing us how to do everything from the off. All whilst using nice, clear instructions. Turning the page then, we've got basically how to play. Turns. The game is divided into 12 turns. At the start of each turn, move the turn counter along one space of the turn tracker. In each turn, the Goblin player goes first, followed by the Fellowship player. So it looks like you do everything all with one. And then there's the cards there on how to read and interpret what it says on them. It looks fairly straightforward. You can move. So when you activate your models, it looks like that the entire Goblin team goes first, then the entire Fellowship, and there's a few things that you can do. Moving being one of them. Move and then attack, or attack then move, basically. You've got the dice, sword, shield, and the one ring for the blue, and then sword, shield, and the eye for the red. It looks like the eye or the one ring does something special, but I'm sure we will find out on the next couple of pages. If you move away from somebody during the game, so if you decide to move away from a goblin you're an adjacent square to, or vice versa, then they can make a sudden strike against you, and you don't get to make any defend roll. For those of you who are familiar with X-Wing, it works exactly the same as that by the look of it. You roll to attack with your dice, and if you get a sword result, you hit. If you get a shield result or a blank result, you do nothing. And then it's up to the other player to roll their dice, and if they get a shield result, it negates each of the hits. Pretty straightforward. On the other on the other page, it tells you how to play stuff and gives you some examples of the things it's just described. It tells you how to attack. Not really a huge amount else can be said there. It's all in the pictures. And it's probably something that's best picked up by just watching a game. And there will be a battle report for this. We will play a game through. I'm going to recruit Willow, my wife, to have a go, and she'll no doubt beat me playing the Fellowship, because she won't ever play the evil team. So let's have a look. You can also attack at range, and this gives you a can I see, so a line of sight, rules on what to do and when using bows. Some of the goblins have got bows, Legolas has got bows, and all that sort of stuff. It looks like some of the terrain, such as the red squares in Balin's tomb itself, you can't shoot through. It also tells you how to defend yourself from stuff, so that was briefly explained on the previous page, actually. So, like I said, it's X-Wing-like. You roll to hit, and if you roll some shields in return, then you negate those hits. Nice and easy. And then it explains the one ring and the eyes. And this looks pretty decent. So it looks like on the cards there are abilities. And if you roll the ring, if you're the Fellowship, or if you roll the eye when you are the Goblin team, then good stuff happens. And that's quite good. Remember that if a member of the Fellowship rolls a ring, they can choose any result from the same dice and apply their one ring ability. Oh, right, so if you roll a one ring, you can choose what result you want, which is quite good. The Goblin deck. The commotion caused by the Fellowship's encounter with the goblins only draws more of these foul creatures to battle, and as the game goes on, more goblins will flock to Balin's tomb. Before the game starts, remove the They Have a Cave Troll card from the Goblin deck and shuffle the remaining cards. Then deal 6 cards face down. Then place the They Have a Cave Troll card in with the remaining cards, shuffle them all and place the shuffle cards on top of the 6 cards already dealt. This will form your Goblin deck for the game. And then it explains that as the turn number goes up, the number of Goblin cards that you got goes up, which is great. If at any point the Goblin player draws that They Have a Cave Troll card, place the Cave Troll in the entrance to Balin's tomb. If there are any goblins of the Cave Troll space on the board, remove them from the game. They have been squashed. I like that. That's very thematic. I'm also fairly sure that it happens in the film as well, when he bursts through the door and just twats a couple of them out of the way. That's cool. I like that. On the back then, we have some extra stuff. Challenges. The Fellowship. So there's some extra stuff you can try and achieve throughout your game, like mini objectives. The hero of the Fellowship. Win the game with all 9 members of the Fellowship still alive. Hobbits really are remarkable creatures. Defeat the cave troll with any of the 4 hobbits, Frodo, Sam, Merry, or Pippin. There is one dwarf in Moria who still draws breath. Have Gimli defeat a Moria goblin in every turn. These are quite good. I like these. There's some others for the Moria goblins. The Depths of Moria defeat all members of the Fellowship by turn 8, which I should imagine will probably be quite hard to achieve. Troll Chain defeat any 2 non-adjacent members of the Fellowship with the Cave Troll in a single game. So you just got to hit him with your chain at a distance, which is kind of cool. Pointy-eared Elvish Princeling defeat Legolas with a Moria goblin with bow. That would be embarrassing. And then it shows you on the back what your guys should look like. The Fellowship, that is. Doesn't tell you how to paint them, though. But yeah. So here's the decks themselves. We've got Frodo. He's got a move of 4. He gets 1 dice to attack, 2 dice to defend, 2 wounds, and his ability is enemies may only attack Frodo if they are adjacent to him. So he's quite small. They can't shoot arrows at him, which is pretty decent. I was wondering that, actually, because you could just sit there and shoot him with arrows all game. But yeah. Sam, move 4, attack 1, defend 2, wounds 1. Sam can throw stones. He can attack an enemy up to 5 squares away. Decent. If Sam rolls a ring when making an attack roll against an adjacent enemy, he immediately moves 1 square and makes another attack. Sam's angry. Next, we've got Merry. He's got to move 4, attack 1, defend 1, wounds 1. So he's a bit crap, really. Merry can throw stones, same as Sam. If Merry rolls a ring when making a defend roll, he may choose it to represent 2 shields instead of another result. So he's quite good at defending himself. And by that I mean he's probably quite good at hiding. Pippin, scanning over the stats, is identical to Merry, which is a shame because they could have been slightly different, I guess. But I don't know. Is there really much unique about the 2 hobbits in terms of a combat game? I'd argue probably not. So, yeah, understandable. Gandalf, move 6, attack 2, defend 3, wounds 3. Gandalf may use Sorcerer's Power to move a goblin. Choose a goblin within 3 squares of Gandalf and move it up to 3 squares. This move does not allow for sudden strike. So he's got force push, basically, if we're to borrow from another universe. The One Ring, if he makes an attack roll, he may immediately make another attack against another enemy up to 5 squares away. So he's just chucking out ranged stuff, basically. Aragorn, move 6, attack 3, defend 3, wounds 3. Aragorn can attack any enemy he can see, regardless of the distance. That's 'cause he's got a bow on his back, which kind of makes sense. If he uses range attacks, however, he only gets 2 dice for attack. The One Ring, if Aragorn rolls a ring when making an attack roll, he may choose it to represent 2 hits instead of choosing another result. So he can really beat stuff up with his sword. Legolas, move 6, attack 2, defend 2, wounds 2. Legolas can attack any enemy he could see regardless of the distance. So he's the opposite of Aragorn. He uses 3 when he uses ranged attacks instead of 2. So it's best to get Legolas using his bow. The One Ring, if Legolas rolls a ring when making an attack roll against a non-adjacent enemy, he may immediately make another attack against another non-adjacent enemy he can see. The extra attack uses a single dice. Gimli, the best. Move 5, attack 2, defend 2, wounds 3. Gimli is so tough that he can ignore 1 hit each time a goblin makes an attack against him. Decent. If Gimli rolls a ring when making a defend roll, he may ignore 1 additional, specifically Cave Troll Hammer Smash. That's quite good. That's where he dives between the legs in the film. That's decent. I like that. Thematic. And that's what you want from a Lord of the Rings game. Boromir, Sean Bean, move 6, attack 2, defend 3, wounds 3. Members of the Fellowship may re-roll 1 blue dice when making a defend roll whilst adjacent to Boromir because he gets his sword, shield, or himself in the way of those arrows. The One Ring, if Boromir rolls a ring when making an attack roll, he may bash 1 adjacent goblin with his shield and push it away 1 square. Great. And then we enter the Moria deck. So, goblins with a shield. Move 5, attack 2, defend 1, wounds 1. Moria goblins with a shield may re-roll 1 dice when defending. With a spear, move 5, attack 1, defend 1. Moria goblins with a spear may attack an enemy up to 2 squares away. That's a decent amount of range, actually. Moria goblin with a bow, move 5, attack 1, defend 1, wounds 1. Moria goblins with a bow may attack any enemy they can see. And then we get to the Cave Troll. He gets his own dice. Move 6, attack 2, defend 3, wounds 5. The Cave Troll may attack enemies up to 3 squares away. If the enemy is in an adjacent square, the Cave Troll uses 3 dice instead of 2, including his little Cave Troll dice. Doesn't really explain what that does. All right, now we go in the rest of the deck. And there's extra cards. So drums in the deep. The goblin player places any one Moray goblin next to the well. So this basically tells you as the game's going on where you can deploy your goblins, which is quite good. I like that. So a couple of those, well, three of those by the looks of it. Oh, yeah, no, so those two are two goblins next to the well. These ones we cannot get out. The goblin player places any one Moray goblin next to each of the trapdoors. And yeah, it's more of the same, really. It's just telling you where you can deploy all of your goblins. And then eventually, I'm guessing we're going to get to the cave troll card that it mentioned in the main rule book. These are all kind of the same. Oh, they are coming. The goblin player places any one more, a goblin blah blah blah. Goblin ambush, come out of two trapdoors. Yeah, all makes sense. And there's the they have a cave troll. The goblin player places the cave troll on its starting squares. And that's kind of all the cards, really. And here's the set. The models, as you can see, come on the coloured sprues that we looked at earlier, but when they're built, you get a clear divide between the goodies being blue and the baddies being red and grey. So if you want to just clip them off and build them, you can get a game in straight away, and it's not really going to detract from the experience. If, however, you want to paint them to get a game in properly and to make it a little bit more immersive and look a lot more like the films, then we've got guides right here on Critical Hit Wargame on how to paint all of these models to a decent standard very quickly, so you can hurry up and get your games in without wasting any time whatsoever. Now, as for the box itself, those people who have played the Middle-earth strategy battle game, or formerly Lord of the Rings, for a while will be kind of disappointed with this overall. It's the old sculpts for all the models. You only get the 12 goblins. It's a kind of simplified game. You don't get anything new for the main Middle-earth strategy battle game, which will annoy some people. However, if you're brand new to tabletop wargaming and you want a kind of gentle introduction via a board game style method, then this box is actually really good. Value-wise, it's not that bad. It's about 35 quid from a friendly local gaming store. And you get a decent amount in it. You certainly get enough to play the game. I have since had a little go at the game, and it is pretty balanced, and it's relatively fun, especially if you've got people who are new to wargaming, like I said. The way the rules work can lead to some pretty thematic moments, especially Legolas just absolutely zapping people from a distance, Gandalf launching people away, Boromir defending the hobbits. It's pretty good. It's good fun. It's good to stick on your coffee table in front of the telly with the film playing in the background and have a little go. I like it. Overall, I'd probably give it about, I want to say 7 out of 10, because it's a good game. It's not great if you're a long time veteran. You will have all of these models. You won't need any of them. You'll literally be buying this box for the board and the rules, and that's probably not worth it. But otherwise, it is. It's a neat little package. It's well written. That's what Games Workshop are good for. We know they are. It's coming up with these little box games with a solid rule set that can be played relatively quickly to get people interested. So overall, I like it. If you want to see this game being played, especially by somebody who is a kind of an avid war gamer and then someone who has very little experience whatsoever, you'll get to see that dynamic here on Critical Hit when I upload our battle report that me and my wife played, where she takes control of the Fellowship and I take control of the forces of Mordor to try and defeat the Fellowship in Balin's tomb. If this has been helpful, like, subscribe, all the stuff you normally do. Check out the painting guides most specifically, or most importantly rather, because that's how you're going to get these guys on the table really quickly and looking really, really decent. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.